welcome to the Sheep and Cheerful podcast, episode number 36. My name is Nikki. I am the hostess and CEO of all things Sheep and Cheerful, and this is a little chatter from me about living as creative a life as I possibly can in as cheerful a way as I possibly can. So welcome back to all you lovely folk who have already been following the podcasts, and a big welcome if you are new viewers. Thank you very much for stopping by and spending some of your hard-earned free minutes with me, whether you're knitting, crocheting, sewing, washing up, sitting in the garden, sitting in a cafe, wherever. Welcome. I hope that you will enjoy spending the next little while with me. I would say half an hour, but it's bound to be much longer than that because once I start talking, I don't tend to stop. Very quickly, I am, that's an oxymoron on this podcast, isn't it? I am on the south coast of the United Kingdom in Sussex, and I live here with my husband. We have 2 grown-up children and 2 grown-up English Springer Spaniels. One of the children has left home, one is still here, and the 2 dogs refuse to leave home as well. So, and guess what? Today I have the house all to myself. Wow, that is quite amazing. I'm sure you'll hear dog noises throughout, so I do apologise in advance for that. Just part and parcel of the general ambience of all things Sheep and Cheerful. Hopefully, after last time's debacle, we won't have too many doorbell interruptions. I know of one delivery I've got due, but I don't think that will be until later. And besides, it's yarn. So, you know, that's forgivable, isn't it, if it's yarn? And we'll talk about that later. I am a little bit late in my attempt to do fortnightly podcasts because, as I put on Instagram last week, I was all set to do a podcast, and then we had workmen turn up to do some work in the house. We are having long-term, they weren't meant to be long-term, renovations doing to the house or remodelling or whatever you'd like to call it, and basically we have to take the chaps when we can get them, and they rocked up for a couple of days last week to do some things upstairs, so you know, I had to lump it really, and there was no way I could have podcast. I got everything out on the table, set up the camera, and then suddenly it was like bang 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 bang. They don't do bang bang bang, they like wallop wallop wallop. So yeah, so everything got put away again. So that's that little tragedy. So this week's subtitle of the podcast is actually going to be called When Knitting Attacks, because I've had that sort of fortnight. I've done loads. I've got loads to show you, so we'll get on with it. But I have, had a lot of challenges with my crafting and my knitting these last couple of weeks. So shall we get on? I've got nothing to show you that I'm wearing because it's summer. And even though it's overcast, it's really warm outside. So I wasn't going to put a jumper on and then start glowing. That isn't pretty for anyone to see. So, first of all, thank you all for your dire suggestions. Not your dire suggestions. Your indie dire suggestions from the last podcast. I have had a look through at them all, and some of them really did pique my fancy. So next time I speak with Cherie about doing a share a pair, we will certainly have a look at some of those people have suggested. Some of them I'd already discovered and use, but certainly there were some that were new to me. So thank you very much. It's lovely to get ideas from other makers, especially as, you know, we're not exactly, oh, here's honey. We're not exactly flooded with, you know, knitting social time at the moment, are we? And share knit and natters and so on. Sorry, she's walking around the table. Now she's gone back out to the kitchen. I think she just wanted to make her presence felt. Oh, she's on the settee in the kitchen now. That's fine. Good. Right. Oh, let me get comfortable. There's been a whole lot of stuff just happened in true Sheep and Cheerful fashion. But the upside was I realised that the lighting was probably a little bit shonky. I've got an overhead light and I've got a kind of a room light. So I've turned the overhead light off and hopefully the colours will be better. So I'm actually going to re-record. I just talked to you in detail about 2 projects. So I'm going to repeat all that. So we're going to move on to finished objects. Again, take 2. I have finished my Ohra shawl. I don't know why I'm making such a meal of the pronunciation of this. And here it is. Ta-da! Look at that. It's finished. Look at that tassel. So you can see there's, I've got to be careful so it doesn't go in my tea. There's the central cable down the spine that goes, can you see? Hang on. Do you know what? I'm asking for trouble having my tea there. Let's put that there. Right. So you can see there the central cable. Then you've got eyelets. There is, and it's weird, I don't know why she did this, a moss stitch pattern. This contrast sort of natural and brown speckles. You probably can't really see it. No. But this is moss stitch, and I think she just put that in to be nasty, quite frankly. But okay. It's a design by Caitlin Hunter, who's Boyland Knitworks. Look, however many times I try and make myself look smart, it always ends up whatever. Yeah, Boyland Knitworks, Caitlin Hunter. It's a few years old, this pattern, but I have wanted to knit it for ages. I have had it on Instagram, so you may have seen it already. But it's lovely. I'm not going to try and model it. Just pretend, look. Isn't that nice? I'm rapidly losing the plot here. This colourway I talked to you before, the Jasmine colourway from Sweet Georgia, is absolutely lovely. And then the other 3 colours are from Layla at the Urban Purl, and you can buy them, I think, direct from her, but they're also, Millie sells them in ArtYarns in Richmond. And yes, those tassels, yeah, I wouldn't want to do that again. But that said, I love the look of them. I just think it's such a fabulous look. So yeah, they were worth it. They were worth the hassle of cutting them, and then I had to steam them because I'd already blocked the shawl. So I had to steam them flat because all the ends were sticking up. But it's lovely, and that will be a lovely wear in the autumn. In my head, I have this vision, you know, this sort of thing, where I'm wearing these sort of stone-washed jeans with chocolate-coloured suede furry boots and a white linen shirt, and then this over the top of the white linen shirt, and I'm like, yeah. And then I wake up and realise it isn't going to happen. I can't even keep the straps on my dress straight. Anyway, one day I may appear in this with a white linen shirt and stone-washed jeans and chocolate suede boots. Yeah, moving on. Right, but that was a good knit. It takes, yeah, 3, it's not cheap, it takes 4 different colours of yarn. But it is a lovely project. So I'm really pleased I got that one done. I've lost my train of thought now. Right, another finished object I have is a woven one, which it's a scarf. There you go. So this is, I've got to do that because you've got to see the fringe. Gotta love a fringe. I'm all about the blues today. Not the blues as in the music or the mood. So So what I've done here, you can see, if I can line it up, I have alternated 2 different colourways of yarn with, here, this one, a lace pattern using, I use a rigid heddle loom. I used my 16-inch loom to create this pretty much, well, it was 10-inch wide warp, so a little bit of shrinkage, it will be just below 10 inches. And then these 2 contrasting colours, I use this beautiful, beautiful speckled colour from Skein Queen, and then the blue, the contrasting blue. And I actually bought those 2 colours, they're both from Skein Queen. I bought them to do a sweater. Well, actually, I bought them at Edinburgh, when I was at Edinburgh a couple of years ago, Yarn Festival. And I didn't buy enough to make the sweater that I wanted to make. So I've had them in my stash for ages. And I suddenly thought, actually, they would work really well on this project. So I'm so pleased with this. It's a simple pattern. I'm actually, can't remember if I said this just now. Forgive me if I'm repeating myself, because I have already said it, but on the bit that you're not going to see. Oh dear, look at this. I mean, what a car crash, hey? This is a design that I'm planning on actually publishing for weavers, and it's a kind of a simple adventurous one. You use a pickup stick for this to create that lace pattern. So if I, hang on, because when I did this last time, I actually had it inside out. I showed you the wrong side. There's the right side. Right, I'm going to stand back. So that's sort of the length of the scarf. And I think that is a really nice length. And you've got a lovely fringe, which, you know, you can play. So tactile, this. And I think it's just really pretty. So yeah, it's a fairly basic. You have to be able to know how to warp the loom, and then I'm planning on making the instructions very straightforward, so that you know, as a beginner, an advanced beginner, or an intermediate weaver, you can actually create the scarf. I'm chatting with Millie about at ArtYarns aforesaid about possibly putting together some kits with the pattern, because really, I mean, she has such fabulous yarn, and 2 high contrast yarns for this pattern would be fantastic. So watch this space. I'm not entirely sure quite when we're going to do that, but in the meantime, I have a lovely scarf. I've got another scarf project on the loom, which I'm experimenting with, but I've had to undo the first 2 attempts at it because I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy with the result, so we'll see how that one goes. Again, I don't know if I said this already, but my hair, I put my hair back today, but it just is like going forward. Anyway, I said the episode's going to be called When Knitting Attacks. I think it should just be called When Life Attacks. Right, okay, so they're the 2 finished objects, and we've got past that. That's good. Let me look at my notes. Right, I have a big pile of whips to share with you. Henry's down at my feet, so if you hear scratching, that's him down there on the wooden floor. I think virtually all of my whips are new cast-ons, because I had a bit of a cast-on party. Once I finished the Ohra shawl, I decided that I would give myself permission to cast on. I spoke to you the last podcast about casting on the Stonecrop sweater. Well, I did. And then this weekend just gone, I cast on another sweater, and I cast on another Musselburgh hat. And that was it there, wasn't it? So sweater, Musselburgh hat, and I'm working on the Colourway socks. So I will show you these now. So in my favourite handwoven project bag, I have put a lot of time into this sweater, and that includes frogging it. a couple of times because I got the colour work wrong. And re-knitting and blah blah blah, but at the weekend I split for the sleeves, so I was so pleased and I've really cracked on. So here we go. This is my Stonecrop sweater. Hang on, it's very hard because it's on, obviously on a short cable. There. Ta-da! It looks, I have tried it on, and I'm so pleased with how it looks. It fits great. There, you can imagine. There. So you can see the colour work. It's so, just love this. I'm so enjoying this, and I'm hoping I'm going to put some time on this afternoon. There's no way I'll get the body done today, but for the next, next podcast, I might even be on the sleeves, which would be really cool. So the details of this, it's a knit by Andrea Mowry, who is Drea Renee Knits. I didn't print out the front page because I don't tend to print out the big colour picture. But there's a wee picture of her at the back. I'm sure you probably all seen this anyway. So that's her, looking very chic and beautiful. And it's in sport weight. Well, the pattern is written in... Oh, it's fingering. So she's actually used fingering weight as the main colour and then sport weight as the contrast because she used Spincycle dyed in the wool. And I bought the yarn for this pattern. I've talked to you about this, haven't I? So I'm not going to keep... I've lost the chart now. Sorry. Let me find my chart because I like to have it all ready for... I can't find my chart. Oh, for goodness sake. Okay, there it is. Right. Have that open, ready to go, you see. Yeah, so I've used kettle yarn in the Northiam base, which I bought in the Seafoam colourway, which is this kind of bluey greeny grey. And then I've used Spincycle yarn in the Neveruary colourway, which is the blue. So you've got purples through to blues. There. So that automatically graduates in colour, or gradiates, whatever the word is. What have I got to tell you about this? I used the Channel Island cast on, which I really love. And actually, let's put that behind it and you'll be able to see that. Oh, I don't think you can. Can you see it's got almost like little bobbles at the top of each rib thing? Anyway. It's a new cast on I learnt this year and I really like it. It gives a slightly more decorative edge to the neck. So I used that. And then when I did bobbles, these I have an as yet undetermined relationship with bobbles on the sweater. Can you see those there? And you've got cables either side, and I used the no cable needle method of doing the cables, which was brilliant because by the time I got to this one I had so many blinking bobbles to do across there and back that if I'd have had to keep picking up putting down a cable needle, I think I would have chewed my knuckles off. So I used the method and it's on Instagram. So if you're doing a 1x1 cable, I do urge you to look at the tutorial on Instagram, on YouTube, because you're just twisting, knitting the stitches out of order. So for the right cross and the left cross, you either bring the second stitch to the first stitch, or you knit the first stitch over the second stitch. It's really, really straightforward, and I've made it sound really confusing. I'm so sorry, but I really do recommend that. Yeah, definitely recommend that method. So yeah, so this is my Stonecrop. Like I say, I went wrong on the colour work on one row, and I was about 5 rows on and I realised it wasn't looking like it should look, so I ripped it out and redid it. And of course, just before you split for the sleeves, I mean, this had about 400 plus stitches, because, you know, I'm not small. So, but it's worth it. I just absolutely love it. So pleased with this, as you can tell, because I keep showing you. Oh, hang on, let's make sure I haven't. And I think that's all. I cast it on the 7th of August. There you go. I've gone up a needle size. In fact, I think I've gone up 2 needle sizes, because I knit at a slightly, I did do a gauge swatch, but I know that I knit at a tighter gauge than seems to be normal. With certainly with fingering weight yarn, I knit with a very close gauge. So, and then you tend to go up if you're working with colour work. So I went up to compensate for that, and up again. So I'm actually using 4.5mm needles. I'm not sure, I think the pattern calls for 3.75s. Well, yeah. She suggests 3.75 or whatever you get gauge on, and I'm pretty close to gauge on 4.5, so that's fine. And also, I always look at the finished size of the sweater, because a lot of these sweaters have a lot of positive ease, and I don't tend to knit with a deliberate lot of positive ease. I would rather choose the style closer to my actual size, and then be happy if it's a little bit bigger, if I've maybe my needle size, if I'm maybe a half a stitch out or something per inch. So it just works. It just works. I think if you look at the overall project and look at your gauge and look at how you want the overall sweater to fit, I think that's the key. Says me, Mrs. Professional. So that's the Stonecrop, which I just love it so much. And I loved it so much that I cast on another sweater. And it's another Andrea Mowry. So, look at this bag. This is such a fantastic project bag. With dog hairs on it, sorry. This is from Angie, who's the urban knitter. You are the urban knitter, Angie, aren't you? Where's your thing? Sorry, the urban stitcher. I'm getting muddled up because I had the urban Purl with the Ohra shawl. Honestly. So Angie's business account is the urban stitcher on Instagram, and that's her website, I believe. And for reasons which I won't go into right now, she has sent me one of her bags, which is absolutely amazing. Look at those sheep. I think these are really popular, so I'm really lucky to get one of these. And it's massive, and it's just so tactile. I love this. I absolutely love this. And there's a little progress keeper, a rainbow progress keeper on those. I've got some of those on my knitting actually. And then you've got a bag that clips on and clips off. And it's such a good size for a sweater's quantity of yarn. And this I know because there's a sweater's quantity of yarn in it. I'll show you the inside in a minute. Right, so I cast on the Stripes sweater by, as I said, Andrea Mowry. Now I think I might have actually, I did print off the front page of this because I wanted to show my mum. So that's the sweater. And again, I think she published this just before Christmas last year, because Cherie and I from Ollie and Bella were both admiring it, thinking that we'd like to knit it. And I ordered, at the time, I ordered a sweater's quantity of yarn from Tanis Fibre Arts in Canada. Now, they have a big Boxing Day update every year. I've been following Tanis for years and years. She was actually the first indie dyer that I bought yarn from, because I bought it from Canada. I don't even think I realised people in this country did it at the time. And Yeah, so on Boxing Day this year, I remember I was feeling a little bit, I always get down on Boxing Day. It's really weird. I have a real kind of low day on Boxing Day because I love Christmas. I love the lead up to Christmas, and Boxing Day it's kind of all over. Certainly in this house, no one's really interested in doing anything but doing their own thing, and it's like, I just like, oh, what now, you know. So what now? Indeed, you go onto the Tannis Fibre Arts Boxing Day update and you order an indecent amount of yarn. And I bought a pack. It was a kit or a pack that she did. I can't remember what the actual pack was called now, but it was a rainbow gradient. And I will show you, it was 6 skeins of yarn. I'll see if I can do this without. So we had light indigo, and this is on her DK base. So it's, and Tannis and her husband Chris use an organic superwash process. I'm sure it's because a lot of her yarn is organic, and they use a very environmentally friendly superwash process. So you can buy your yarn from them knowing that, you know, a lot of thought and consideration has gone into this. So we've got light indigo, light blue, light green. Can you see? I don't know if you can actually see the difference in those, but anyway. Then you've got yellow, and you've got light red, and then you've got light purple. Those you can see the difference. In the pack, these looked absolutely stunning, and I've been so wanting to knit with them, but you know, find the right project, know what I wanted to do, find the right time. And so I decided, I was so enjoying the Stonecrop sweater, and the construction, the yoke construction, I really liked, because I feel it really suits me as well. So I went ahead and cast on stripes, because it's not colour work, it's DK yarn, and it will be relatively quick knit. So, I'll show you how far I've gone. Are you ready? I'll show you the back, because it's, look at that. Oh, it's so gorgeous. So the back has got short row shaping, so if I turn you around to the front, you'll see it's not quite as much of the colour contrast, but you can still see, look at that. So you've got the indigo, the blue, the green, the yellow, and I'm just on the red, and the next one is going to be the purple, the lilac. This is going to be, oh my days, and the yarn is so soft and so beautiful. So it's my rainbow sweater. So loving this, and this I cast on. Where's my little card? I've done a little card for this. Oh, it's in the side pocket. Angie, this bag is so big I lose things in it. I cast this on the 20th of August. So 3 days really, because I haven't knit today. And I've been working on other things as well, and look how quickly that's worked up. Oh, it's so glorious. So yes, I'm super excited about that. I've put all the, I haven't decorated my project card yet, but you can see on that side I've put the details in. I've put a little snip of all the colours there. I have gone up 1 needle size, I believe. Ah, no, did I? Because I think this was actually meant for sport weight yarn. And I'm using DK, so let's see, what needle size does she suggest? Because stripes, bear with caller. No, I'm just not on my game, am I today? I said on my game, not on the game. Stop. Right, here we go. Sorry about that. So she has said suggested needles. Sorry, I'm just looking for the ribbing. Oh, sorry, I could only see the needles for the ribbing. 3.75 and a gauge of 26 stitches. So I got a gauge at 5.5, which is a lot bigger, isn't it? But I'm a tight knitter, so anyway, doesn't matter. I believe I'm using Amazing Fives at 5 point. Do you know what? I'm just going to check now. These are 4s. I got a gauge at 4s. I thought I had written it down. I'm going to have a little chat with myself in a minute and make sure that I usually write down the gauge I get. Ah, yes, I did. A 5.5 stitch gauge per inch. I had to use 4mm needles. Right, sorry, carry on. Nothing to see here. So, fabulous bag. Oh, and there you can see the pockets. So it's got contrast lining pockets. Fabulous sweater in a fabulous bag. Now, the reason I have this bag is because I've known Angie for a few years now. We met through a group I used to organise called Socks on the Beach. And we live not that far from each other. Angie and her sister Vicky, who is the dyer behind West Green ArtYarns, they live probably an hour away. Yeah, about an hour away from me. But they used to come down for Socks on the Beach. And yeah, we became pals. And Angie contacted me a couple of weeks ago and asked me if I would make her a blanket, a woven blanket. And I had said to her a couple of years ago, because I've made one for Vicky, and I said I would make one for Angie. So even though I'm not making very many at the moment, I said yes, I would make one for her. So when she sent the yarn, she sent this as a gift. So I'm so love this. So hop on over to her website as well and have a look, because her bags are really great, and they're not the run-of-the-mill kind of project bags. They're definitely stylised as Angie has a style of her own. Usually holding a glass of red wine. No, sorry, didn't mean that. Well, I did, but Angie, if you're watching, I'm sorry. You know I love you. Right, quick sip, hang on. Okay, the other cast on, another cast on that you haven't seen yet, in the same package of yarn from Tannis Fibre Arts, I also ordered some of her worsted weight yarn because I wanted to make a hipster shawl. I've wanted to make a hipster shawl for ages, and I wanted to make it in worsted weight yarn. And I made it, and I don't think I've shown it on the podcast because I think I made it during the time when I wasn't podcasting, so maybe I'll show you another time. But I absolutely love it. So much so, and I'm not a reknitter. I don't tend to make things twice of the same pattern, but I decided I wanted to make a hipster light, so the fingering weight version of the hipster shawl. So it seems fitting, by Hohie Locatelli, in case you didn't know, that I'm using my Hohie bag. So I'm all about Hohie and Andrea Mowry at the moment. I had in my stash a skein, this beautiful skein of yarn that I bought from ArtYarns in Richmond last year. It's ArtYarns Merino Cloud. So, and this is designed by Iris Schreier, hand painted in New York from 100% Italian fibres, and it is the most gorgeous merino cashmere base. 100 grams, 437 yards. And a lot of their colours, if you want to see some of their colours, go on to the Tribe Yarns Life Instagram feed, because Millie absolutely loves this yarn. She's always knitting stuff with it. And I chose one that is, it's an ombre cloud, or merino cloud. This is colourway 709. I thought it had a name, like chopped mint or something. Choc mint, not chopped mint. But that's, and you see that, you can't really see the colours terribly well, I don't think. So it's a kind of a grey green, and obviously it's a gradient, so it goes to really dark and then it's quite light on the outside. And I thought this would look beautiful in a hipster shawl, so I cast this on the 9th of August. And there we go. Oh, hang on, let's get that out of the way. Can you see? I can't really see what you can see. So this is obviously going to be, that's the top. So you've got the very pale, almost undyed with speckles. Then it goes into a grey. And it's almost striping there, but it's going to go a lot sort of grey-greener towards the middle. So the bottom of the shawl will be quite dark. But that's where I've got to. Ooh, and can you see the crisscross? Which I really, really love. Really love that openness. So yeah, this is really great as well. Really loving it. And it's so soft. This ArtYarns Merino Cloud is so soft. Extra fine merino and cashmere, you can imagine. I don't feel the camera is really doing it justice, but so you've also got lace work in there, which you don't have on the worsted weight one. But yeah, this is lovely. I'm absolutely loving this. Again, probably a little picture at the back. Yeah. So very similar to the worsted weight version in many ways. And it's still quite a good size. So even though it's fingering weight, it's wide, and that's what I like. I'd rather it wider and shallower. So yeah, that is my Hipster Light. That's what it's called, isn't it? I haven't printed out the front page, but yeah, it is the Hipster Light. So really loving that. And I am actually picking up all of these projects because I like them so much and they're all so varied. At the moment I'm on a stockinette that 10 rows or so on this, apart from increases at the end. So I can pick this up if I'm watching a podcast or watching TV. The striped sweater I can knit at the moment pretty much just straight. There's not much going on with that at all. And the only one that I really focus on out of the sweaters is the Stonecrop. So it's a really nice mix. Now if I want to take something travelling with me, I don't go travelling, I go to town. Although I did go to Brighton a couple of weeks ago to meet a friend, and I have to say I didn't enjoy it. It was so busy. I felt really edgy and really out of control and didn't enjoy it, but I did get to go to Yak, which is yarn and knitting. That's my local yarn store in Brighton, and I did buy a few bits and bobs. So if time permits, I will share those with you. I'm on a bit of a time thing at the moment because I do have someone coming around this afternoon, and yeah, for various reasons it's got a bit late. So let me keep on waffling. A couple of weeks ago, I have to say, I'm a bit of an emotional spender. So a couple of weeks ago, when I was feeling a little bit blue, I went on to the internet and I bought a Hohie Sock Bag. Oh, I love this. I love it. Just look at that colour. That's Hohie & Co. It's such a perfect little size, and it's got this hooky thing there, and it's got this soft suede inside. It's so lovely. And I bought this from Julie at Suffolk Socks because she is a Hohie stockist. And me being late to the party, you probably already know that, but I didn't know that. So I went onto Julie's website and I saw she had these in, and oh my days, I just love it. And it came so quickly, thank you Julie. She sent it literally by return. And it came in a beautiful little sort of muslin sack, muslin bag. I've got, I put a stitch marker on there because I was going out and I thought I might need it, but you know, and it's such a soft leather. It's so beautiful. So yeah, there you go. That's my emotional purchase. And then, as mentioned, I cast on another Musselburgh hat. Now you may remember I'd knit one out of the Dandelion and Dogwood yarn, which I don't actually have with me. And I cast on a second one out of some Lolo Did It yarn. And my mum really liked it. And she needed a knitting project. I say needed, you know. So I said, well, take that. It's really easy. She's not experienced in Magic Loop, but this I had short enough needles and cable that she could knit in the round. And I gave it to her and said, right, knit for 11 billion rows and then I'll do the decreasing and the casting off for you. So she took that away and she's loving that. She's really enjoying knitting on that. Except when I saw her at Saturday, she came back, she said, oh look, and she'd done, you know, what would normally be a hat's worth. And I said, yeah, you've just got to do all that again. It's double the amount. So she took that back with her. But I cast on another one because I also bought myself a skein of yarn. It's outrageous. Honestly, I have bought so much yarn, but I have no regrets. I found a new to me dyer in the United States, and I found her through following the Do You Knit podcasty vlog thing that they do, the knitting shop in, I believe they're in, I want to say New Jersey. I apologise if I'm wrong, but I think they are. And on their post they showed some yarn that they were going to buy for the store, and I fell in love with this yarn. As you know, I'm always on the lookout for just slightly different or new dyers, and this yarn is from a dyer called Kelly. Hi Kelly, who I think she might actually be watching because we've been chatting on Instagram. And her yarn brand is Fashion School Dropout. So it's the Fashion School Dropout Yarn Co. Now she hasn't been dyeing that long, I don't think. Certainly not for her own shop, I think. And forgive me if I'm wrong, Kelly, you've been doing wholesale orders, I think. But anyway, she started putting yarn in to sell direct. And I couldn't get, she does this peach colourway that absolutely fell in love with. But by the time I got onto the website, it had all gone. All sold out, no surprise there. It's absolutely beautiful. And I wanted the fingering weight slub because I wanted to do a Musselburgh hat in a fingering weight slub. So I bought her, she calls it the Mercer Street slub, which is 90% superwash merino, 10% nylon, in her Trapper Keeper colourway. I don't know what that reference is, but anyway. And oh, it arrived and I was just blown away. I've skeined it up, I've caked it up, but it still looks, are you ready for this? This, I just think, look at that. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's so, in fact, the colours are a bit brighter. They're a little bit more vibrant than is showing up on the screen, I think. But of course, when I watch this back on video, it might not be really close. Sorry if that's in your face. Oh, that might be a bit better. Look at those colours. This yarn is absolutely stunning. Oh, I just love it so much. And I was so glad that Mum took the other Musselburgh hat because it meant I could cast another one on. So look, I'm going to keep doing that. That is so annoying. I need to get... Oh, hang on. There's a hair grip falling out the back. Let's do that because I'm sure I'm irritating you by keep pushing my hair back. There you go. I think we're all good. I've got this new hair thing. I don't know if you can see this. This thingy here. It's like a wire thing. I fell down the rabbit hole of an Instagram advert, and you put it in and roll it up, and then it's wire, so you just pull it across. It's astonishingly badly made. It came from China and it's appalling, but I actually really like the way it does it. So yeah, there you go. Anyway, I digress. No surprise there. Okay, and I have started. Are you ready for this? Are you ready? That is my Musselburgh hat. Now it's on a very small cable, so it looks quite small. But I finished with the increases and I'm now knitting down the body. And I wish you could see it. I really don't know whether you can see the colour. Oh, actually that's better. The kind of the turquoisey colour, and then the sugar pink. It's just beautiful. And there's my little Snoopy stitch marker from Jilly Makes. Can't, oh, it's Snoopy, it's Peanuts. There you go. But yeah, so that's just, it sits in my little Hohie bag when I want to do something that's really, you know, bread and butter knitting. I will pick this up and I'll work on it, and I just love it. It's not quite as easy knitting with slub. It's not as quick knitting with slub as it is with smooth yarn, because if you're tensioning your yarn and you're pulling it through, then the slubs invariably get caught up where your fingers meet. But, you know, small price to pay for such a beautiful skein of yarn. So, yeah, hop over and see Kelly. Follow her on Instagram. And if you get a chance to have a look at her website, do go and have a look, because certainly for me, her colourways are right up my street. And you can be sure that the next time she gets some peach in stock, I'll be on there. Get my elbows out, get everybody out my way so that I can get the peach. I would actually love to knit a sweater out of the peach colourway, but I think I might have to go on a bit of a yarn diet for a few weeks. You can't see all the yarn I bought. So that's the Musselburgh hat. I have one more whip to talk to you about. Should I leave it for now? I don't even know how long this has gone on for. Oh, 40 minutes. Okay. I could come back a bit later. No, let's show you this last whip, because this is another one that has been attacking me for the last couple of weeks. It's not a new one. You have seen this before, though I have only just put it in my Stephen and Penelope project bag. It's not a Stephen and Penelope. I bought it from the Stephen and Penelope stand at Edinburgh, and it's by Oh Wow Amsterdam, handmade. I feel it's kind of the same kind of canvas as the fringe supply bags. But I haven't used it since I bought it, and I've got it out and I'm actually really glad I'm using it. So this is a pair of socks. If you remember, I was making these socks from this book, Operation Sock Drawer, which was put together by the Knitmore girls, sorry, because the socks are called Funhouse. And I was making those socks. That's all well and good. I don't struggle with colour work. But then, I don't know if you'll be able to see this. I got to the heel, which I did wrong because I'm an idiot. And then I got to the gusset and I hadn't, I mustn't, I can't really show you the, right, can you see that heel? That is actually the bottom of the foot. So, yeah, I had faced quite a challenge. This was undone several times. I could not get my head around this heel construction and the gusset. But I have now, but it's a bit tricky because I haven't finished the gusset. With this sock, the thing that threw me is that the gusset decreases are actually on the underside of the foot. They're not at the side of the foot as you would imagine. So let me just show you the front of the sock. There. Which is, this has all just gone in because that's where the heel is. So it's really, I really love this. And if I turn it around, you can see that's where I was when I last showed you. So it doesn't look like I've done a lot, but trust me, I've spent some hours on this. So it's an Eye of Partridge heel, which you can see there. It's wonky because of the way I've got the stitches arranged on the needles. And then I'm having to repeat the chart. So the colour work, if I can show you, actually goes along the side of the foot whilst you're decreasing. And then the bottom is a separate chart. Tricky to show you this. So from the heel, so that is a separate chart, and that is where you do the decreases. You can see, I don't know if you can see there. I can't do this back to front. Anyway, so I'm decreasing. It's a challenge. It has to be said, it's been a challenge. But I have prevailed, I think. There is one slight design feature. Actually, you can see while I'm doing the gusset, my tension is slightly tighter, but that's okay. In that the pattern has one side of the leg is the contrast colour on the blue, and the other side is the blue on the contrast colour. But I was alright on the leg of that. You probably can't really, it plays with your head a bit. But I've followed the wrong chart on the sides, but it doesn't matter. It's absolutely fine, and it's lovely. So the yarns here, I think I mentioned too, this is the Yarn Badger self-striping yarn, sparkly self-striping yarn in her Wonderland colourway. And then the blue tweed is from Hue Loco, and it's Sky in her Tweed Sock. So yeah, I'm making progress. Once I get that blooming gusset decrease done. Oh, I just found a stitch marker. That doesn't bode well, does it? I'm going to put that in there and put this out of the way. Right. So, there we go. That'll do you? That'll do you for now, won't it? I don't think there's anything else. I was going to talk to you about acquisitions. I'm not sure I am, to be honest. I think we will talk about those another time. I would just briefly show you, because I do want to keep this relatively brief. It's not going to be a super long one. As I say, I've got someone coming round in about 15 minutes, and I'm really hungry. It's lunchtime. What I might do though is try and record a podcast. I might do it a bit sooner next time. I don't know. Anyway, let's have a cup of tea. So a couple of other things I've been making. So that's all the knitting content, but I did make something else on the loom. You will remember that I was recommending to anyone who would listen this book, Woven by Angie Smith. I'm reading really slowly. I'm nearly at the end, and so I'm making it last because actually I might start rereading it. It's so good. And we've just started a new Bible study with She Reads Truth, which is the book of Deuteronomy in the Old Testament. And I love the way Angie explains the Old Testament in this. It's really helpful and really accessible. So, but yeah, the book Woven. And as a bit of a giggle, Cherie, again, Ollie and Bella Cherie, sent me a picture of something she'd seen on Instagram and said that she felt I needed to make this. So, not being one to step back from a challenge, I wove a bookmark for my book Woven. So I was very lazy because I just tied off the end. So there you go. It's very pretty. It's in Shetland wool. It was just from Stash, and I made it on my very small A4 size frame loom. Actually, if I turn it so you can see it sits in my book. So there you go. I made a bookmark. I made a thing in my book, woven. So that was really good fun. I've had a few problems, you wouldn't notice it, with my arm with knitting, and so there have been a couple of days when I've had to really cut down my knitting, believe it or not. But remember, this is 2 weeks worth I'm showing you. So to be able to sit at the loom and do something simple, or to do a bit of sewing, is actually quite a good respite for me. For the old, I've got some sort of muscular problem in my upper arm here. Anyway, by the by. Another thing I saw that I really fell in love with on, I think it might be an Instagram, actually, and that's something I never used to just browse Instagram. I used to look at the people who I chose to follow, and that was it. And then when I befriended Cherie, in Bella, she's a great browser of Instagram. It gets her into all sorts of trouble with buying stuff. And I thought, oh, so when it comes up, suggested posts, rather than just turning it off, I've started browsing, which is a little bit dangerous, isn't it? But I came across this pattern by a lady called Minky Kim. I'm not going to say it. Sewingillustration.com. And she is on Instagram. But I saw these coasters, and I really, really liked them. Fleur coasters, or flower coasters. And they're half patchwork, half embroidered. That's who it is. I think maybe that website is wrong. I think it should have a T in there. So sewingillustration.com. But I went onto the website. Was it Etsy? No, it was the website. And I bought this pattern. It was fairly inexpensive because I thought these would be so lovely to make. I've got so many scraps of fabric, and I thought they would be so lovely to make as little sets for presents. And you get, the instructions are so easy. I mean, they're so simple to make. So probably anyone worth their salt could work out the pattern and backwards engineer it. But I thought, no, I will pay for the pattern because I think, you know, I wouldn't have thought of this otherwise. And look, this is my first one. As yet to write on and embroider the bit. But look at that. Again, that's a much deeper purple. That's coming out really blue there. But it's not, it's purple. No, it's odd. How pretty is that? And you'll see I've just quilted. I chose a contrast colour to quilt around the edge. And then a contrast fabric on the back, which is a Liberty fabric. And then you just hand stitch at the middle. It's got wadding in it. I mean, it's quite big for a coaster, but it could be a plant pot holder or a bowl or just a mug. But I just thought, made from odds and ends, and I'm going to embroider the writing on there. So she says, smile, love ya, begin today and shine on. But you could write all sorts, couldn't you? You could write lots of positive messages. I just think that is really lovely. So pleased with that. And again, I pulled that out to do on a day when, or in an evening when I didn't feel I could knit because I really needed to give my arm a rest. And it didn't take that long, and it certainly doesn't take much fabric. So I was so pleased, so happy with that. So, why is that? Oh, my watch is telling me it's time to stand up. That's a bit rude, isn't it? Oh no, and now I've dropped my mat. Hang on, back in a minute. Okay. Right, so that was that. Last thing to show you is some art that I've done. It's not strictly Bible journaling, but it kind of is. I don't know if I had told you that I have been playing around with watercolours. I want to learn to paint. I had a learn to paint book with tutorials, and so I just had a mess around of something, and it's a combination, so it's a mixed media. Hang on, it's in my A3, so I got myself a watercolour pad and I made this, which I'm really pleased with. So this is a pressed flower from our garden, This is one of the one of the flowers from our trip to Sandy Balls that my dad picked me. And then I did a wash, and I've used stamps and some calligraphy. So yeah, I'm super pleased with that. This is another wash that I did similarly at the same time, but I haven't decided. I have bought myself some vellum paper, and what I was thinking of, I wanted to overlay a globe, because I'm thinking that the blue and the green makes me think of a picture of the globe. But there you are. So that's just a little bit of non-knitting messing around. I have started Bible journaling in my interleaved Bible, which took a lot of bravery, but I won't show you that this week. I'll show you that another time. But I am actually, yeah, doing some art journaling in this beautiful Bible that I've got that has a plain page in between every printed page, so there's loads of space to journal. So that's really exciting. As I say, I do have quite a few more things to chat to you about, but I think we'll probably leave it there for today, because I think we're probably heading up to an hour or just over an hour, and I would rather get this out rather than risk, I'm doing my hair thing again, rather than risk getting interrupted and not finishing and getting it out and all of that. Plus I would really like to sit down and do a bit of knitting this afternoon. So what's today? Tuesday. It's a friend's birthday today. I need to give her a call and wish her happy birthday. I did an aquafit class again yesterday, so I'm feeling quite, you know, smug. I really enjoy them. They're so funny. It's so hard doing exercises in water. I don't know if any of you have tried it, but it is really difficult. And then especially when you get given the floats, the big long pool noodles, and you have to do things with those. Honestly, it's just hilarious. It's so much fun, and it's good, and it's helping my back. I feel my back is feeling a bit more, you know, a bit stronger these days, so that's really good. Any other family news particularly? Mum and Dad are still doing loads of embroidery, which is brilliant. I'll have to show you Dad finished one of the Nikki Franklin embroideries from Stitchery Lane that I'd given him. So I'll have to show you that next week, because it's amazing for his first, you know, big project of embroidery. Mum is busy. Yeah, I bought her a needle punching kit to learn how to needle punch. She's having a few memory problems, so, and the healthcare people who have been monitoring her have said the more stuff she can do creatively, the better. So, you know, she's come to the right place. So, yeah, I think I've got some stuff for you to do. I have actually today received a package of yarn that is going to be, it's not going to be caked up because it's Durham Ulysses, which is already in balls, and that is going to be a sweater, a cardigan that I'm going to get Mum knitting. So I'm going to be typing out the pattern for the petite knits. I think it's Anchor's cardigan. Anchor, yeah. The ribbed yoke, and then the stockinette, and I'm going to type it out so that she can follow it quite easily, and she can make herself a cardigan. So that's really exciting as well. So lots of encouragement going on there. And what else? I think that's probably it. I don't know if I mentioned to you last time that Jonah, my eldest, had contracted COVID, but he is now free and clear. He isolated, of course, as you would do, and his girlfriend, they both had it, no surprise there. So they isolated for 10 days, and he's back out now, and will be going back to work shortly, which is ironically as a paramedic. So he's all good and well. And Hannah, yeah, she's going to be going back to university at the end of September. I say going back, she goes to university locally here to us, so she lives at home. But we are going for another little trip away for 5 days for a little retreat down to the New Forest again. And what I might actually do is vlog that. I'm not sure. Yep, I might vlog that. Also, just very quickly, when I was going through my bits and bobs, I discovered I still had some things I could do for a giveaway. So I still have a skein of yarn and a couple of minis and a couple of project bags, that my handwoven project bags. You can see those ones. So I think I might do a giveaway again soon. So, you know, watch this space. If anybody out there, I don't normally say this, but if anybody's a dyer or a maker of some sort and would like to contribute, donate a giveaway to the podcast, then please do reach out to me, probably best on Instagram. I didn't say it, did I? Everybody knows, I think. I'm Clara Peggotty on Instagram, or you can find me as NickyWinterton on Ravelry. We also have a podcast group on Ravelry, which I'm slowly getting back to grips with, and there's a group that's a chatter thread, what's on your needles. So do pop over to there, or if you want to chat or reach out to me there. And I think that's probably about it. I think next week I might be chatting to you about, or next time I'll be chatting to you about some possible Christmas knitting plans. I said the C word. I often start planning in August, and it's nearly the end of August, isn't it? So, and because I have a specific Christmas acquisition that I haven't shared with you yet. So, yeah, loads going on. So much going on. It's crazy. I will endeavour to be back within, at some point, the next 2 weeks to bring you up to date on some more bits and pieces. I have loads of new projects planned, so it's going to be crazy. In the meantime, thank you for watching. I do appreciate your watching, and I do appreciate all your comments below. If you've not subscribed, hit the subscriber button, because it's really nice for, you know, from this side of the camera to see subscribers go up, and maybe give it a thumbs up. And I would wish you a blessing-filled couple of weeks, and I will speak to you soon. And in the meantime, stay cheerful. Okay, natural break there. Natural break. Nothing natural about that break. Okay, so we're back. We are back, and I'm not entirely sure. Oh, I need to change my specs. They're the wrong specs from it. Okay. That's better. I can see the screen now. Who knew? Right. I believe, finished talking about the woven scarf. I've got another project on the loom, but I won't show that until next week. And now Honey is starting to bark again.